Good Saturday morning, guys. What do you do when the price on your item goes through the roof? Almost doubles, triples. A lot of people would pay it or look for another purveyor, which we're doing next week. But this week, instead of putting our cauliflower on the menu because it doubled in price, we are switching our vegetable offering, our smoked vegetable, barbecue vegetable offering. We're doing a sweet potato. We're gonna do it in a way that was inspired by a really good restaurant here called Birdie's. We're gonna make a smoked caraway cream. We're gonna do some pickled apples and a fall nut dukkha that's going on top. First, we're gonna roast the sweet potatoes and then smoke them to get them hot. And I'm gonna show you that because our cauliflower is too expensive this week. So the first thing we're doing with these sweet potatoes is just wrapping them up in foil. We're just gonna rinse them off a little bit, wrap each individual sweet potato as tightly as we can in some aluminum foil. We're just gonna roast them in the oven till they're pretty soft. Doesn't really matter which side, shiny side, dull side. We're doing them whole. We're gonna cut them down to individual serving sizes afterward. We're just gonna go 350 for about an hour and a half, 2 hours until they're nice and probe tender. You don't necessarily need to look for a number here on the finishing temperature, but these are all upwards of 200 degrees and nice and tender when you just push on them, and they probe really easily too. Next thing we're gonna make is some smoked caraway cream. So Bromley here is taking some sour cream. He's going to spread it out, just kind of cold smoke it for a little while, and then we are going to toast it, or toast some caraway seeds right here. I left the audio in because it sounds really cool when they're popping, but we also put a little bit of sugar and some horseradish in that cream, so it kind of had this really balanced and interesting depth of flavor with the smoke, the caraway seeds, the horseradish. All of it kind of came together and really both contrasted and complemented the sweet potato at the same time. It was super good. Next, we're going to make the fall nut dukkha. The only thing we didn't make is the pickled apples. They're just finely diced apples and a little bit of cider vinegar, water, sugar, easy pickle. So for the fall nut dukkha, we've got in that container some sunflower seeds, some pumpkin seeds, some nigella seeds, just a bunch of the nuts and seeds on the shelf. I wanted to have a crunchy topping to this dish, so we're kind of taking all the seeds that we have collected on the shelf, seeds and nuts, and kind of mixing them together. We're going to pulse this a few times, and then he's going to add some celery seed to that, and we added some crunchy salt to it as well, because the crunchy salt kind of mimics the texture, or is a similar texture as the fall nut dukkha. So we've got all the sweet potatoes cooked. We've got all of the caraway cream done. We have our pickled apples ready. And then lastly, we have our fall nut dukkha all kind of finished and made. So that's the whole dish right there. We're going to be plating some up in just a second. We're going to transition to the food truck, and I'll be cutting down the sweet potatoes that have already been cooked. We'll be heating them up for service. There's the celery seed, and off camera we added a little bit of crunchy salt too. Time to break down the potatoes. Cooled them down in the foil. This is the first time they've been unwrapped. They're all nice and tender, cut through really easy. And we're just going to kind of trim them up and make them into individual pieces. Either a half or a quarter of a sweet potato, kind of depending on the size. That's really what we're looking for. We're keeping the skin on, and we're just going to heat them up on the smoker with a little bit of butter and brown sugar, kind of an oblong shape like that one. I cut into a few different pieces. Now we're portioning out some butter, and we're going to do some brown sugar and butter to heat them up on the smoker, and then we'll see how they're plated. All right, let me show you what we're working with here. We've got all of our sweet potatoes. They were wrapped in foil and roasted till tender. Then I cooled them down, unwrapped them all, cut them in half or different pieces, kind of about the piece that we want to sell. We're selling these for about $8 a piece. Put a pat of butter and then some brown sugar on each one. I'm cooking them right up close to the fire so they'll get nice and hot. Hopefully a little bit of caramelization, a little smoky. And then we'll come back when they're hot. Okay, these sweet potatoes, they came off nicely. You can see most of the brown sugar has melted. They've taken on a little bit of color. They're cracking just a little bit, and that's what we want. I'm going to take a nice beautiful one. It's nicely glazed with butter and brown sugar. Straight down in there. Caraway cream. Ooh, don't sink, don't sink. I like to put a little just kind of draping over the edge. Just a little bit more on there. I think it looks good. Then, pickled apples. These are just Brunoise diced. Granny Smith. The brine has some cider vinegar and brown sugar. As I get the brine all over the place. Last, we have the fall nut, dukkha. Pistachios, sunflower seeds, crunchy salt, celery seed, pumpkin seed, nigella seed. All right, give her a taste.
Let's see how it turned out. Get a little bit of everything.
What do you think?
It's delicious.
Good?
It's really good.
Crunchy, smoky.
Crunchy, smoky. A little bit of the apple coming in there. The nuts. It's good.
Good shit.
Sweet potatoes baked perfect.
Yeah.
A little bit of sweetness on that brown sugar. I like it.
Look at that.
I'm eating this whole thing.